Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's video I want to talk about some different makeup brands. I did do a video at the beginning of the year, if not the end of 2018, of 9 brands that I wanted to try throughout the course of 2019. So for today's video I want to go over all those 9 brands and let you know which of those I have tried, if I have tried them, which products I've tried, and then which brands I've not managed to try. I think I might do something like this for 2020. I don't think I'll be able to think of 20 brands that I want to try next year, but maybe 10 brands I can think of. I have already started a little list on my phone of brands that I do want to try next year, and I think I am approaching the 10 number, so I think that might be the number that I go with. Obviously new brands are actually releasing all the time, so maybe I could get to 20, I'm not too sure just yet. But let's go over the ones from 2019 first. So starting with Flower Beauty. This is a brand that I have managed to try because they did actually come to the UK via Superdrug. We do still have a very limited line available to us, and I think a couple of the products that I have tried I did actually pick up while I was in the US or Canada. There is a couple that I've managed to get over here. So there are actually 3 products that I've tried from Flower Beauty. The first was the Light Illusion Foundation. The shade that I have here is L2, but I do actually have the shade L1. I think it's still the case here in the UK. We only carry the odd numbers. So we've got L1, which is porcelain, and then L3, which I think is nude, and then going up in the shades. I did try L1 and it was a little bit too light, so when I was in, again, Canada or the US, both of which stock it, so I can't remember which one, I did manage to pick up L2, which is Ivory. And this is a really nice foundation. It is one that I do tend to prefer to wear in the summer because it is a bit more of a lightweight glowy foundation, which I tend to kind of prefer more in the summer. But it does say it is luminous makeup nude skin feel, and it is definitely a natural feeling foundation, which is my personal preference. So I would highly recommend this, and I'm glad that I've now got the shade that fits me, which unfortunately we don't carry here. So I don't know what's actually going to happen if I do eventually work my way through this, but really enjoyed this. The next product I tried was one of their blushes. This is in the shade Sweet Pea, and this is one that I did have to buy abroad because we don't have their blushes here. We only have the highlighting palettes, which I am quite tempted by because they do look really good. But with regards to this blush, it is a gorgeous shade. It is what I have on my cheeks now, and it just gives me a really nice flush of colour. It's not too overly pigmented, but it's just the right amount of pigment, but it is also buildable, and these do last a decent amount of time as well. And then the final product that I tried was one of their Miracle Matte Lips, and I think this may be my favourite product that I've tried. I did get it in the shade Rosewood, and this is something that I did actually pick up here in Superdrug. I think I did swatch most of the shades that we carry in Superdrug because I think there's only 6 of them. I don't know if that is the entire line or if that is just what we get here, but there was no other shades that really caught my fancy apart from this one. But formula wise, it is super comfortable, it is decently long lasting, and it does fade away gracefully. My only issue I have with it is that it's got one of the quite long and flat doe foot applicators, so you do have to be a little bit careful applying it, and it can have a tendency of going out the lip line if you're not careful. Once it's in place, it doesn't bleed or anything like that, which is great, especially because this is a slightly darker colour. But yeah, highly rate this, and if we do get some more shades I will be tempted to pick up another one. But out of the 3 products I've tried, there's not been one that I've disliked, and I do love the packaging of the Flower Beauty products, so that one's definitely been a hit. The next brand on my list was Zoeva Cosmetics, which is one that I haven't managed to try. There have been a few occasions where I have gone to purchase one of their eyeshadow palettes when they've been on sale. I think Beauty Bay here stock this brand, which I do believe is a German brand, or at least somewhere else in Europe. But their products do seem quite reasonably priced, and I think their eyeshadow palettes full price are about £20, but they usually go down to about sort of between £11 and £13. Their palettes do look nice, but none of them have jumped out at me that I definitely need it in my collection as such, which is why I've never bit the bullet. They also do makeup brushes as well, and again, I do have enough makeup brushes in my collection that I don't need any at the moment, but there's been a few times where I've gone to purchase one of them just to see what they're like compared to the brushes that I have, which are kind of Wet n Wild, BH Cosmetics, Morphe and Spectrum. So a brush is probably the thing that I'm most likely to purchase, but I just haven't bit the bullet yet, so this might be a brand that I might kind of carry forward to trying in 2020. The next brand is Fenty Beauty, and technically this is a brand that I've also been unsuccessful in trying, but I do actually own a product from them. We did receive one of their Mademoiselle lipsticks in the Glamour Beauty Festival gift bag that we received, but it is in quite a bright pink, so I've not got round to trying it yet, and I haven't decided whether to because it's not my kind of shade. We were supposed to receive one of the Stunner lip paints and also one of the gloss bombs, but unfortunately we did just receive a bright pink lipstick. So I was really disappointed to have not received them because they're the two formulas that I wanted to try. Plus I haven't heard the best things about the matte lipsticks. So even though I technically own something from the brand, I haven't yet physically tried it. So I don't know whether to use that lipstick or not, or try and pick up something else if I can, because I am intrigued by the brand. The packaging looks gorgeous and some of the products look really nice as well. They are just kind of up there price wise. So that was another one that I was unsuccessful in trying. Next we have the brand Juvia's Place, which I have definitely tried and have been really enjoying trying. The only thing that I've tried from them is eyeshadow palettes, which I think is what they're known for. They've only kind of branched out into complexion products and things, I believe, in the past year. Their foundation does look really nice, but from what I've seen is kind of like super high coverage, which isn't my personal preference, so it's not something that I would look to try. You can get Juvia's Place products, I think it is mainly the eyeshadow palettes, on Beauty Bay here in the UK, but all of my purchases I've made have been direct with Juvia's Place because they do have really good sales, and I've not actually bought anything at full price from them. Their eyeshadow palettes are around $20, but they do regularly go kind of 40 or 50% off. So even with the price of shipping, which is between kind of $8 and $10, with the $10 eyeshadow palette, I tend to pay about anywhere between kind of £12 and £15 for an eyeshadow palette from them, obviously dependent on the exchange rate at the time. If I were to buy them direct from Beauty Bay, I would be looking at kind of £20, £25. Even when they're on sale, they don't go much lower than 18. So if this is a brand you are intrigued by, I would recommend looking direct on their website. So the palettes of theirs that I have tried is the Nubian, which is the first one that I bought. Their palettes don't come with mirrors, which does not bother me at all. If you've seen my recent makeup habits video, you will know that I stand in front of a mirror and do not like handheld mirrors. So these are palettes are ideal for me, plus the packaging is always gorgeous with the kind of like Egyptian goddesses on. I believe this might have been the first palette that they ever brought out, but it is your go-to neutral browns, right up my alley. Everyday look, perfect shades, love reaching into this one. This is also one of the longest lasting eyeshadow formulas that I've tried. Even if I forget to apply eyeshadow primer, it doesn't matter because these will last all day. This shade in particular up here is my favourite shade, which I've realised this one doesn't even have shade names on. I've worn this to a handful of weddings now and it still looks as fully all over my lid as it did when I first applied in the morning, so it's great. I highly recommend this if you are a neutrals girl, and this one recently went down as low as $6 on their website. I think when I purchased it I paid either 8 or 10, but this one, I think because it is one of their older palettes, say if it's not their first release, this one regularly goes quite low in price on their website, so I would highly recommend this palette. The next one I've tried is the Saharan palette. I've not used this one as much as the Nubian, but this still, again, is a really pretty palette. This one has a bit more colour in here. You've got like a kind of dark terracotta and then a more brighter red shade, which are shades I don't reach for an awful lot. This one has got a couple of more unique shades in it. This one here is like a gorgeous shimmer midnight blue, and then this one here, a man, which is a white with blue flecks in it. Both gorgeous shades, and these ones have also got shade names on. Really nice palette. Again, not as everyday as the Saharan, but would highly recommend this, and I think I paid $10 for this one. And then in their most recent sale, which I think was not their Black Friday sale, I think it was the one after that, their winter blowout, I think it was, I did actually bite the bullet and buy their Douce palette. This is one that I've always regularly looked at. This is literally brand new, I've not even touched this yet. But because of the kind of brightness of these couple of shades here, it's always put me off. But this one went down to, I think this one went down to $8, and at the time I purchased it, the exchange rate was pretty good. So with shipping, I only paid £12 for this, and I've never seen this go lower than about 18 on Beauty Bay. So I just bit the bullet and thought I'd give it a go. I've been wanting to try one of their £9 palettes because I'd only obviously tried the £12 palettes. I had not appreciated how big these palettes were. In comparison to these ones, I thought the palette would be the same height as this, but obviously like that size, I didn't think it would be this big, and I definitely did not think the pans would be this big. These are probably as big as the mini Tarte Amazonian clay blush pans, and are definitely the biggest eyeshadow palette pans I've ever seen in person. But I'm really excited to break into this one. The shades are different in person, most definitely. This one is a more deeper green than I thought it was. Online it looks like a quite pale mint green, and this one looks like a paler pink, but this is definitely a fuchsia, which ironically is called custard. This Mont Blanc silver shade is darker than I thought it would be. And then in person, this Tarte shade here is a cream with pink flecks and looks gorgeous. But I say, this literally arrived the other day. I haven't even swatched it yet, but I'm excited to play with this one. The next brand I wanted to try was Sigma Beauty. As with Zoeva Cosmetics, I was thinking I would just pick up a brush or two from this brand to try them. The main one that springs to mind, I think, is it the E25 that everyone uses. But I've just not ever bit the bullet. Again, I do have kind of a makeup brush for everything that I need in my collection, and I don't feel like I have a hole to fill with a certain shaped brush, so I've just never got around to purchasing something. But again, I would like to try a Sigma brush because I have heard such amazing things. And then another thing that actually caught my eye in 2019 was their Enchanted palette. I think they've brought out numerous eyeshadow palettes over the past few years, but none of them have ever drawn me in. But I did find myself really attracted to the Enchanted palette, and that did go on sale a couple of months ago, and I was really tempted. But I am trying to be better with my spending, I say, as I show you a brand new Juvia's Place palette. But that was more reasonably priced than the Sigma one. I think the Sigma one's about £40. So never got around to trying anything from Sigma, but again, I think I might try a brush maybe next year and add that to my 2020 list. The next brand I had down was Charlotte Tilbury. This is a brand where I think I've technically tried bits of samples and things from the brand, but I don't think I've ever given them a proper go. So I think at the point I put them on the list, I had tried a couple of samples of things. I think it was like the Miracle Glowy cream thing, whatever it's called. I think it's a primer or something, but I hadn't actually tried something properly. I put it on my list because I did want to try like one of the lip products or an actual full product, not just a little sample thing. So I never got around to purchasing anything because this is a pretty pricey brand. But one of my friends loves everything that she's tried from the brand so far and does rate it really highly. So I would like to say I'd like to try something from them next year, but I just don't think I can bite the bullet and purchase anything that expensive, because their lipsticks I think are 20 something pound, and I tend to not like to spend more than £20 on a lipstick. So didn't get a chance to try anything properly from Charlotte Tilbury, but don't know whether to put that on my 2020 brand list or not. I'm going to have a think about that one. The next brand is Physicians Formula, and this is a brand that has only very recently come to the UK. I think we can now get this on Feel Unique, and I think it's more recently come into Boots, which is great. This was a brand that I had been dying to try for so long. I actually tried this for the first time when I went to Canada and the US. The first product I picked up was the Eye Booster eyeliner. This one was a bit of a miss for me, to be honest. It is a I think it's brush tip. I always get the difference, I always get mixed up between the felt and the brush tip. I think it's brush tip, but it's such a fine point. I found I was having to go over the same line to be able to see it. It was great for getting right up next to the lash line, but not so much that you can kind of see it. I never noticed any kind of eyelash boosting claims from it or anything, but I probably didn't use it enough, to be honest. So this one was a bit of a miss for me, but I'm glad to have definitely tried it. The next thing that I picked up was the Cult Classic Butter Bronzer. As you can see, it is still in its box. I am terrible for remembering to apply bronzer, and I had wanted to finish a couple in my collection before I even opened this. So this one has not been tried because it is still in the box, and I've opened it up just to see what it's kind of like in person, as it were. And the scent that everyone speaks of and raves so highly of, I'm not a massive fan of. I don't really like scented makeup to begin with, but I'm not a massive fan of the scent of this at all. So it made me not want to kind of rush to use it, but I will use it eventually because obviously I've purchased it. It'd be a waste if it didn't, and it does look like it is quite a nice shade, and I am intrigued about the formula because it is kind of a cult classic. This is one thing I have from the brand but I've not yet tried. The next thing I have is a couple of the Healthy Lip liquid lipsticks. This first one is in the shade Bear With Me, and then I have this one which is All Natural Nude. This is one that I picked up when I was in the US, and I really enjoyed using it. It is a gorgeous colour. It's kind of a pinky nude, and it does have a really nice doe foot as well. It is one of the ones with the kind of hole in it that picks up just the right amount of product. It is a really comfortable formula, and it is decently long lasting, and it does fade gracefully as well. So because I did really enjoy it, when Physicians Formula came to Feel Unique, I think I used one of my Pick and Mix samples £3.95 code, and I purchased another shade. So say this one is All Natural Nude, which looks more like a brownie nude. This one still has the cellophane on because I want to use more lip products up before I open any more, because obviously once you open them, this one has a 12-month thing on it, so I'd rather keep it sealed for now. But do like the formula, and I think here they only retail for about £8, so definitely worth a try. The next brand we have is CoverGirl, and yet again another one that I only was able to try because of going to the States, and the product I tried was the Exhibitionist mascara. I did make the mistake in picking up black brown rather than black, but formula wise I really do like this mascara, and I'm actually a bit gutted that we can't get CoverGirl here. It is a really nice kind of natural mascara, obviously more so because I've got black brown, but it just gives you a nice amount of lift, volume and length as well, and it's for a good everyday lash. I think if I did get the black it would be slightly more dramatic because it would obviously blacken them more than it does being black brown. I would definitely recommend this formula, and I wish I could purchase the black. My friend went to the States not that long ago, and I didn't even think to ask her to pick me up one of these, which I'm gutted that I didn't now because I do really enjoy it. But this is the only thing that I have actually tried from CoverGirl, and I say I won't be able to try anything else unless I go back to America or the brand comes over here. And then the final brand is Ofra Cosmetics. This is another one where as of yet I've technically not tried the brand, but I do technically own a product from them. This is one of their liquid lipsticks, and this is in the shade, can't even remember. This is in the shade Charmed. So this is a really warm, dark pinky nude shade, and it does look like such a pretty shade, and I am excited to try it. But as with the unopened Physicians Formula one, I'm waiting to finish up some lipsticks that I have on the go before I open up any new ones. I am trying to work my way through my lipstick collection a bit better because I did have so many open at once and it was getting a bit out of hand. This is obviously a brand I wouldn't put forward to 2020 because I have a product to try, but as of yet I've not tried it, but hope to very soon. So out of all the 9 brands, I have tried products from 4 of the brands, and then I have the products from a 5th one. So that's 4 brands that I've not tried at all, which not too bad, over half that I've managed to try. Is there any brands that you could recommend that I would look to try in 2020? If a brand obviously I've not mentioned here, or if it's a brand you've not seen mentioned on my channel before that you know I've not tried something from, any recommendations will be greatly received. As I say, I do really like trying new makeup, and can definitely add some brands to my list for 2020. But that's it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already. Thanks.